Fine, then we'll start with the first topic of today, interfaces. So let me create a package for this. Interface example. Let me create a class. Let the class be demo, or let the class be main. Okay, and this main class should be having public static void main string arguments. Okay, so now the point of question is, what do you call an interface? What do you actually mean by interface? What is interface?
Interface is a completely abstract class.
No, not correct.
That is,
What do you mean by an interface?
Interface is a blueprint of class.
Interface is a blueprint of class. No. Interface is a class which consists only of abstract methods. Okay. Now the next question is, what do you mean by abstract methods? Methods which consists only of definition, not the body. These kind of methods are called as abstract methods. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So interfaces is a class. It's a class. Basically, it's a class where you will find only abstract methods. So what is the difference between an abstract method and a normal method? A normal method is a concrete method which will be having some body also. But an abstract method will not have any body. It will have only the function definition. Let's see a few examples and let's see what we can do with it. So where are my interfaces examples? Over here. Okay. Now let's create a package inside the interface example, and I'll call it as phone. And I'll create another package where I'll call it as phones, and this should be a small letter, not a capital letter. No. Yep. I'll close the notes. Let's go to our packages. So inside the phone package, I have a class which is a phone. Okay. Now, what is the next thing? Can someone tell me what should I do next? Nope, no one's gonna talk. Fine. Now I'll create an interface, not a class actually, which is iPhone. Okay. So now here my iPhone is an interface. According to our definition, an interface should have only void, only the definitions, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So there is a return
yes,
type
Monish.
and it is saying it is a processor. So we normally have to declare this as an abstract, right? Because we know that it is an abstract method. But one thing in interface, by default, every method is an abstract method itself. So there is no need to define it. Even though if you don't define it, it will understand that it is an abstract method, right? Sorry, one small mistake I've done over here. Let's make this as a class. And let's make the phone as an interface. Instead of making a class, let's make phone as an interface. So what all things that we should definitely have in a phone? Can someone tell me what are the definite things we should have in a phone?
Calls, call log, camera,
A log,
Display,
display,
Battery.
and battery. So I'll stop it with these three examples. So battery. Since you create an interface when you say that you must have these compulsory. Instead of call log, I'll put a processor over here. Okay. A phone without a processor is a waste. Just because you have a display and you have a battery, it doesn't mean it's a phone. A phone must have some processor also. Okay, different phones will have different processors. For now, we'll stick with these three examples. Okay, can a phone have can a phone exist without a display? Whichever phone it is,
no,
can a phone exist without a display? No.
no,
Can a phone run
No.
without a battery?
no,
No. So in the interface, we write some methods where those methods should definitely be there. You take any phone, these methods must definitely be there. Those kind of things we write it in an interface. And it can, the processor, it varies from phone to phone, it definitely varies. So when I say iPhone basically implements our phone. So when I'm writing about phone, when I'm writing about interfaces, I should use the keyword implements. Okay, not extends. I should use the keyword implements, and I have to implement all the methods. I must override all these methods. Okay, abstract. Here the abstract method, there is only definition, there is no body. So if you want the body, you must implement the body inside some other class. You must hide the implementation in some other class. Okay, so here the processor of iPhone, the processor of iPhone is, let's say it is A11. When I come over here, the display of iPhone is something like 6.2 or 6.4 centimeters. When I come to the battery, I can say that the battery is lipo battery. Okay, I can say like this. So these methods, these processor, display, battery, these methods exist in any phone. So when you say that iPhone is a phone, that means that whenever you declare anything as a phone, it should definitely implement these methods. These kind of methods are called as abstract methods inside an interface. Okay, now let me create another class over here. Let's say this class is Samsung. So inside Samsung is also a phone definitely, so it will implement all the features of the phone. So automatically it should implement all the methods of the phone. And Samsung is using a processor Snapdragon 850, and the phone which I am using which I want to see is, it is having a display of 6 centimeters, and this battery, it is a liquid battery. Okay, understood till now?
yes, sir,
yes, sir.
Understood or not, everyone? You
Yes,
know
sir.
why?
yes,
Now you
Yes,
understood
Manish.
why do we use interfaces? What is the
Yes, Manish.
Why do we use interfaces? Since we already have a class, and it when there are two or three classes, we can use our interface inheritance. When we already have the inheritance, why do we need to use the interface? Because inheritance, it consists only of concrete methods. Okay, when the methods are concrete, when you extend, when you, if this is the case, if this is a class and the processor, it will already be fixed, the display unit will already be fixed, and the battery will already be fixed. When Samsung extends or iPhone extends the phone, what happens is you can directly call the processor. So whatever the processor the phone is having, it will just act as a processor for iPhone also. But in this case, the processors may vary. The same way, the method implementation, the body of the method may vary for each and every example. But every phone must have a processor, must have a display on it. Maybe I'm using very small phone, or I'm using a old phone. In that case, my processor will not be Snapdragon, my processor will be MediaTek. When I say MediaTek is an old processor where it is having series from 3. So those kind of scenarios may be there. If you don't understand more about phones, it is okay. But just understand that interface consists only of abstract methods. And abstract methods will not have any body. Okay? Understood?
Yes, sir.
The concept of abstraction is also same. Abstraction means it will hide the implementation, and it will show only the necessary information. So here the implementation is hidden, because when you see over here, you can see only the necessary data. The relevant data is, it is a processor. What kind of a processor and all, we don't know about it. Those details and all will be implemented somewhere else. So that information is basically hidden. That is called as an abstraction. Okay, I think you are clear with the interface topic.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
now let's go back to our syllabus, and the next thing is abstract class. So let me create a package. Let me name, okay, I'm sorry, new package. Let the package name be abstract class. So abstract class will have a package which is main. So inside this main, we'll create our main class. So main class will be having the public static void main. I need to find a shortcut for this one. Public static void main. Yep. Okay, now let me create another package. Let the package name be person. So person will be having a class which is called a person. Okay, now I'll create another package. Let the package name be food. Okay, so now we have a person, and we'll have a food package, where in this food package I'll say one is veg and the second one is non-veg. So now we'll just go back over here. So what is happening? We have two classes. One is a, can someone tell me what is that? What are the three packages we are having over here?
Person,
First,
Veg,
veg and non-veg.
person,
veg and non-veg.
Okay, so we have a person over here, and normally a person speaks. So I'll write a method over here, and I'll say that this guy will speak, and I'll say simply he or she speaks. Anyone will speak, right? Whether it is a boy or a girl, it will speak. He'll speak. Whether he is a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian, he'll speak until and unless he is deaf or dumb. He'll speak. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So any person will speak.
Yes, Monish.
So until that point, it is true. So the next thing is public void eat. There is a method called eat. Now, can I tell a person is a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian without asking him?
No, sir.
No.
No, basically that is not possible. So
No,
if I
Monish.
don't know something, I need to implement it. I need to ask him and then implement it. So in that case, but I must a person will definitely eat. Whether it is veg or non-veg, we don't know. For those kind of things, we create more actions. We'll make this eat an abstract method. Okay. Remember, when you have an abstract method inside a class, you must specify the class also as abstract. So an abstract class will contain both concrete methods as well as abstract methods. Whereas in interface, we do not have concrete methods and abstract methods inside interface. Interface consists only of abstract methods, but an abstract class will consist of both concrete methods as well as abstract methods. Understood? So here
Yes, Monish.
we have a wedge extends person. Sorry, person. As soon as I extended a person, you see it is giving me an error telling that I must implement eat. A person should eat something. Here I'll say that this guy eats only grass. Just making fun. This guy eats only grass. Or let's say this guy eats only veg. No hurting anyone's feelings over here. And non-veg guy also is a person, so I'll extend a person and I'll implement some methods and I'll say this guy eats non-veg. I can't say only non-veg because he eats veg and non-veg both. Now I'll go to the main method and I'll create an object for person. Person is equal to, now Monish is a person where, okay, see over here it is asking me directly for implementation. We don't need implementation here. We already extended everything. We are encapsulating over here with a bracket. It is asking me some errors. Why? Now the question is why? Abstract methods cannot be instantiated. That means what?
We cannot create the objects for abstract classes.
Exactly. We can't create an object for abstraction. So if you can't create an object for abstraction, then how do you use it? It is the question. How do you use it? Instead of creating an object for the person, I'll say that he is a non-vegetarian. I am accessing directly the relation and I'll say either he eats or either he speaks. Sorry, it is running some other program. I'll run this. I want to run this main, not that main. Now you can see that eats non-veg and he or she speaks. Now you understood how do you actually run an abstract class and
Yes, Monish.
what is the difference between an interface and an abstract class?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, Pujita, clear or not? I can see some doubt on your face.
Yes.
What is it?
I can't understand about our abstract.
Abstract method or abstract class?
Abstract class.
See, abstract class will have both concrete methods as well as abstract methods. Okay, and you can't create an object for an abstract class. Whereas in interface will have only abstract methods. Okay, but here
Yes.
in abstract class you will be having both concrete methods and as well as the abstract methods. You have doubt with the definition or you have doubt with the implementation?
Implementation.
So what is the doubt between the implementation? If you tell me what is the doubt between the implementation, I'll ask.
Mm, Go to veg and non-veg programs class.
Okay.
Here we are overriding methods, right?
Yes.
A public class which extends person.
Yes.
When we use implementation,
Hmm. So you are telling me why are we using implementation? Why are we using extends instead of implementing?
yeah,
Because it is not an interface. It is a class. It's a special class. It's an abstract class. Only when you are using an interface, then you put implementation over here.
okay, sir.
Okay. If it is not an interface, then you simply put extends. Let's go to
Okay,
the implement in interfaces part over here. See over here. Here interface is there. There is no keyword called class.
yes, sir.
But here you have the keyword abstract, but you have the keyword class also.
Yeah,
Okay, when you find the keyword class and you use one class properties inside another without creating an object, at that time you use the keyword extends and you extend those properties. Okay, but in place of interface there is no keyword called class, so you only implement it.
okay, sir. I can understand.
Okay. Now I hope everyone understood.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now where are we? We completed these two. Let's go to multiple inheritance. Okay, is it possible to have a multiple inheritance in Java? Is it possible?
Yes, sir.
How is it possible? It is not possible, right? How is it possible to implement? Come on, if you tell me, even I'll learn.
Multiple inheritance is achieved by the interface.
Relax. Your voice is too loud. Okay. So first of all, I don't want interfaces. Without interfaces, is it possible to achieve multiple
No, sir.
inheritance?
No,
No. Why is it not possible to achieve?
because multiple inheritance have two parent classes and one child class.
Multiple inheritance has two parent
Parent
classes.
and one child class.
No, yes, exactly. So what is the difference? So why can't I? So if I have two parent classes, why can't? What is the problem? Hello.
Sir,
Talk, man.
yes.
I have two parent classes. Then what is the problem? Why can't I actually execute a multiple inheritance?
Um, Because
Because
at a time both the parent classes we cannot extend the one child class, right?
at a time both parent classes can't extend one child class.
Access in one child class.
One child class can't access two parent classes
Two
at
parent
once.
classes. Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
assume that there is a person. Okay. I'll put up a person called person. Okay. And inside the food, I'll put up a class called veg, and I'll make this as an interface. And here I'll take another class and I'll say non-veg, and I'll put this as an interface. Okay. Suppose if a person is both veg and non-veg, normally people are like this. You don't eat non-veg every day. So a person is basically both veg and non-veg. When he is eating veg, as let us say that we have a method over here. Let us say public void veg. Okay, I can't use veg. Let us say eat, and here it will be like, oh sorry, it's an interface. That means everything is an abstract. Okay, there is a method called eat. In non-veg there is some other method called, let us say, enjoy. There is a method called enjoy. Okay, there are two methods. One method in veg which is called as eat, another method in non-veg which is called as enjoy. A person who is both veg and non-veg, he wants to eat and he wants to enjoy. That is the scenario. But in normally we you can't do both. Either you must eat or you must either enjoy, because one class can't extend two classes. Here I can't say veg comma non-veg. It is giving me an error because a class can't extend multiple classes. That is the scenario. But if I want to do like that, instead of using extends, I can use implements. Here when I am implementing, obviously I can implement all the methods of veg and non-veg. Understood? So what is the error
Yes,
over
sir.
here?
We
Interface
need
expected here.
extend.
So obviously an interface is expected here. I'll say veg comma non-veg. Okay, now I'll create implement these methods. Now you understood that at a time when I'm using the implements, I can either enjoy it as well as I can eat it. I can do both at a time. But normally this kind of a scenario is not possible when I am using multiple inheritance, right? But with the help of implements and interfaces, we can basically run like this. So are you people enjoying? I am enjoying. I don't know about you.
Also,
No, nonsense of India. Yes, and are you people eating?
no. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I am eating. I don't know about you people. Okay, I am eating every day 3 times. So now let's go to the main method and let's create a person where it is from multiple dot person, and let the person be Nitin, which is equal to new person multiple dot person. When I am saying Nitin, I can basically access Nitin dot eat as well as Nitin dot enjoy. We can do both. Okay, that is one way of using our multiple inheritance with the help of interfaces. We got our output also. So Nitin is basically eating and as well as he is enjoying. Yes or no, Nitin?
So maybe it's the
Maybe and yes. Okay. They never be in a single day. Okay. I hope you understand multiple inheritance. Any doubts?
No, sir.
No doubts, right? Okay. Now let's go to inner classes. So what do you mean by an inner class? Most, I guess this is one of the most important topic where no one will discuss. Inner class. So inside our inner class, I'll create another package which is main. So inside our main, this is a class. I'll call this class as main psvm. So inside this package, I'll create, what should I create? Inner class. Okay, there is a shop. This was the plan actually, a shop. Okay, so inside a shop, there is a door. Okay, we have a door. So will a door have a lock or not?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
The door will have a lock, so I'll put private lock. Lock.
Pressing lock.
Okay, lock is a class. So now what I'm doing is inside this class door, I'm creating another class which is my lock. Okay. So this is called as an inner class. A class within another class. This is called as an inner clock. Sorry, inner class. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You have a lock. So basically, if there is a lock, if there is a door, we must access that lock. So to access that lock, I'll create a constructor. So I have a constructor, but here lock is basically what? It's a class, right?
Yes,
Here
sir.
lock is a class, right? So I'll say lock is equal to new lock. I'll create an object for this class inside the constructor, because every time an object for the door is created, automatically this lock was also accessed. So automatically that lock is accessed. So now here we are having another constructor for the lock. So I'll create another constructor over here for the lock. So generate a constructor. I got the constructor, but it's a lock, right? We have to say whether it is open or not. So to say it is open or not, I'll create another variable lock. So if this lock is true, it means that the door is closed. If this lock is false, it means that the door is open. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Monish.
If you understand this, I'll be very happy. If you don't understand this, then also I'll be very happy. Okay. So I have created a parameterized constructor instead of a default constructor. Okay. Till this point, are we clear?
Little bit of confusion is there, sir.
Okay, so tell me what is the confusion. Tell me here itself so that I have to write more code. Before that itself, you will understand. So ask me what is the doubt.
Sir, please change the boolean keyword lock.
You want me to change this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll change this to key. Okay, now it is okay. A lock is having a key. If the key is true, that means the room is locked. Otherwise, If the key is false, it means the shop is unlocked. By default, I'll say that my shop is locked. That means it is true. See, if you people ask me where your doubt is, I can clear it. Okay, it is not a good practice to explain the whole program again and again. Tell me where you have confusion, I'll clear that point. At what point you have the confusion?
Why we take a public door lock?
Public door, it's a constructor for this class. It's a constructor.
Yeah, okay, sir.
It's a parameterized constructor where inside the constructor we normally set some values, right? Some default values or something like that. Instead of setting the values, I am calling my lock class. I'm creating an object for my lock class over here. Inside a
Okay.
constructor, I'm creating an object.
Okay, now I understood.
Okay, anyone else is having any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, now I want to know what is my shop status. So I'll say public void shop status. I want to know my shop status, means whether the shop is locked or not, means whether the door is locked or not. So can I say lock dot, but I don't have any methods, right, inside my lock. Only if I
Yes,
have
sir.
any methods only I can access it. So for now let me keep it like this and let me start creating some methods inside the lock. So here let me say there is a method called isLock. Okay, this method isLock is simply telling lock.lock this dot lock is equal to lock. So this is also taking, sorry, here it is key, right? I'm sorry, key. So whatever value I am setting up over here, I am just copying it to here. Okay. Come on, I need some answers. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now I'll just create a setter method over here. I'll create a setter method for my key where this will be my key, set key. Okay. Now here I'll say if lock dot, even now I'm not getting anything. Why?
I think that is key. The method.
No, this is not a method, right? I have a method called lock. If I have a method called if is lock, I am having a method called lock. I am having everything over here. So now what is the problem? Why I am not able to access any methods over here? Because the object created is lock dot is lock. That's all, nothing more. You people are understanding anything or absolutely are not understanding nothing. Return key where this key will become boolean. Now I think it will not give me any errors. Yep. See, if it is true, if the key is true, what do we mean if the key is true? The door is locked or opened?
The door is
Open.
open.
Okay. So if the key is true, the door must be open. I'll simply say welcome, shop is opened. Else Sorry.
Sorry, shop is closed.
Shop is closed. Till now, everyone, are we clear? What is happening over here?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, Monish.
yep. Now we'll go back over here. We'll create an object for my door, which will be equal to door, which is equal to new door. End of story. Okay. This door, basically I must tell whether the door is open or not at the starting itself. So first I'll say it as true. My lock is true. Done. It is still giving me an error. No, it should not give me an error. Change the first parameter door from lock to boolean. It is changing over here. What is happening over here? This is my key. This is my lock. Error. Change parameter lock type to inner dot shop dot lock. No, I won't change this. So this is a lock, this is a lock, this is true, shop dot status is true, everything is true. Okay, so I'll create a parameter over here, and here I'll just change this to like this. Now let's see what will happen. Now no errors. Door dot shop status. So now what is my current shop status? Welcome to the shop. Shop is opened. Now if I want to close this, how do I close it? I say door dot. Where is my setter
Shop.
method? There is no setter method. Did we create a setter method or not?
So created, sir.
We created a setter method, right? So how do I
Yes, sir.
access this setter method now? First of all, I need to get it. So I'll generate a getter method first. Okay. After generating a getter method, I'll first get the lock. After getting the lock, I need to set it now. How do I set it is the question. Tell me. How do I set it?
Using two-string method.
No, you can't set it using the toString method. Too much disturbance, too much disturbance. Hmm. Now tell me, what should I do? Just give me a minute. Okay. Let me see what mistake I have done over here. Let me come back to you.
Okay, sir.
So, pretty sure that we have done a mistake. Just need to know which mistake I have done. Created something. We created a door. Then we created a getter method. Lock boolean is lock. to dot getlock dot okay. Setlock is private. It is obviously private. Now it's public. If anyone is trying, please try. Everything is correct. Anyone got any answers?
No, no, sir.
To dot getlock dot lock getlock Boolean lock lock serial lock This door is start shop. Status dot set door. Seeing this?
Yes, sir.
So now if I run this, you can see that we are getting our output. First we got our data, then we are setting the data to false. Then we are making it to show the status again. First, when it was true, we are telling that shop is closed, and then when we make it false, we are telling that welcome to my shop. Same program, no changes. First, we took a lock. Okay, we took a member which is of type lock. We created a class for it. First, then we created a constructor. We are calling the object of the lock class inside the constructor of the door. Okay, then we are simply calling the shop status where we are checking it whether it is true or false. If it is true, we are telling shop is closed. If it is false, we are telling welcome to my shop. Then inside we are just calling our get lock method. So to get the lock status, here this is our class lock, this is our constructor, this is our isLock method which is returning our lock status, and this is our set lock method. Same thing, no changes. Yes, no, something,
Yes, sir.
others.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine then. Don't worry about this. We are still having an error over this. I'll check it later what is happening with our inner class. Okay. So what are the types of inner class? Let me open up an image. Okay. Okay. So your nested classes, there are two types of nested classes. One is static nested classes, the other one is non-static nested classes. Don't worry about the static nested classes now itself. When we are in the topic of static elements, I'll cover the static nested classes over there. Okay, we'll cover it now itself in a couple of minutes. The other one is a non-static nested classes, means a class which is non-static. We have already seen this member inner class, means it is nothing but a class which is having a member like this, where we created our private lock, where lock is a member which is of type class lock. So for those kind of things, we create a class inside a class. Those kind of things, it is called as a member inner class. Local inner class is nothing but creating a class inside a method. Okay, that is called as a local inner class. Anomalous inner class is nothing but we don't create any object for it. Without creating an object, we run that class with the help of direct class name. Not without creating an object, with the help of direct class name, we run that class. I'll send you out an example in my GitHub page. You can just check those examples over there. Okay, just understand these concepts.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So I'm not gonna explain these concepts right now because it took us too much time gap for the inner class. I'll send you directly the GitHub code. If you have any doubt, you can ask me on that. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay, fine. I'll just remove this. No, I'll keep it. Let's go to our static element. So what do you mean by a static element?
It cannot change to user.
It cannot change to user. No. What do you mean by static element?
Static means it doesn't change.
Static means it doesn't change. No, it will change. Okay, fine. Let us see an example. Assume that you have a private element of type int, and I'll call that element as x, currently which is 0. Okay. Now I'll create getters and setter methods for that. Okay, I have created some getters and setter methods for that x. Till this point we are clear? No rocket science. Okay. Now here I'll create an object for my static class, and that object is nothing but, let us say, s is the object. New static example. Now s dot. Okay, now I need to print it first. S dot get x. Now I'll run this. Did I get my output as 0?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, now I'll say s dot set x to 3, and I am running this. Sorry, before running I must copy this line. It will not print automatically, so I'll keep it like this and I'll run this. First it was 0, now it became 3. It is changing, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So then how can you say it is not changing? Static variables means variables or elements or methods or classes which can be accessed throughout the class. All over the class it can be accessed. Those kind of methods, or those kind of members, are called as static members. The difference, what is the difference? I'll show you here practically. So initially, what is our static value? It is, what is our element value? 0, right?
Yes, sir.
Then we set our value to 3. Okay. Now I'll create another object. Static x c is equal to new static x. Now c dot get. Okay. Instead of this, let me copy this, paste it over here. Instead of s, I'll make it c. Now I'll say c dot set it to 4. I'll copy this, I'll paste it over here, and I'll run this. Now if you see there, my value became, for this one, it is 0, 3. When I create a new object, my value became 0, 4.
Oh,
Yes or no?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now what happens is, I'll make this as static. Okay. See, after making this as static, I'll run the same code. See over here, first it was 0, my default value. Yes. Then it became 3.
Yes.
I set my s value to 3. After that, even though I have created a new object, still my x value is 3 only. It didn't become 0. So when you make a member as static, it is accessible throughout all the class of all the objects. The static member will not basically come back to its initial state. It will not be refreshed. The value is accessible to all the objects. Okay, it will not change. Means, I'm sorry, it will change, but it will not come back to its initial state. Here, basically, our initial state was 0 at the beginning. Yes. When I created a second object, previously we saw that it again became 0. But now when I made it static, even my second object can access the same variable x. From wherever we have stopped, it can be accessed from that point itself. So even though it was accessed again by a new element, the answer is still 3 itself. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Nitin,
Yes, sir.
Hemlata.
Yes, Manish.
Okay, understood what is a basic thing about the static elements over here. It is a very simple concept. Okay,
Yes, sir.
once an element is declared static, it can be accessed by all the members objects of that particular class. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. I hope you understood the basic static thing. Okay. Okay, I need to explain you about the static inner classes also. Where is my static element? Okay, so here let me create a method which is public void test. Let this be like this, and let me say test. Okay, so when I am saying about static inner classes, I need to have some other class also, right? I'll remove all this. Let me create a class which is static, and I'll call this class as inner class. It already started crying me. It's a static class inner, and I'm creating a method public void test out testing. Okay, now let me go back to my main method. I'll remove all this because we are not having all this. So first, static dot. You can see here I am directly able to access the inner class without even creating the object, because static, the keyword static means you don't need to create an object to access whatever you have in this class. So I can directly access the class inner. Now when I am doing this, am I able to access the method inside this? Am I able to access the method?
No, sir.
Yes,
No,
sir.
because no, I'm not able to access the method. Am I able to
Oh,
access the method?
no, no.
So if I want to access a method inside a static class, then the method should also be static. Then only I can access it. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
If the class is static, that means that every method inside that class must be static. That is the concept of inner static class. How many ever classes you have inside a class, once the class is meant to be static, every method inside the class must and should be static, and there is no need of accessing with an object. You can directly access with the help of the class name. So what about this outer class? Can we make this outer class static? It is not even showing me an example. Our suggestion also it is not showing that it should be static. The outer class must not be static. Okay, only the inner classes must be static. The outer classes should always be non-static.
Okay, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
I hope you are clear with these two concepts of static element and static inner class.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Clear.
sir.
Okay, now we'll go to our final keyword. So whatever you said for what is static, a value cannot be changed. That is a perfect example for this. What do you mean by final?
Done, no, sir.
If you declare a element as final, it can't be changed. Whatever you said for static, that answer only you have to say for final. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Monesh.
So here I'll create an element which is private int x which is equal to 10. Okay. Let me create. Okay. I'll just say that extend CA. I'll extend my class EA which I have created. Now first let me create a constructor with all the super class effects and all. Let me create the getters and setter methods. No rocket science till now, everything is common.
Yes, sir.
Whatever we learned previously, everything is common over here.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now let me create an
Yes,
object
sir.
for my class B. B is equal to B equal to new B.
B.
Okay. It is asking me for what? Oh, this is asking me for this. Let me create an empty constructor also, so that it will not ask me for a parameter for now. Okay. Now I'll go here. I'll say b dot. Oops. What did I do? Any problem on this? We are having everything right.
Yes, sir.
Why am I not able to get any methods? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't write the main method. psvm. B dot b is equal to new b. B dot, I have a getter method over here. Let me create my print statement, put it at the end. Yep. Now, okay. Now I got my x value. Now with the help of same thing, I'll set my x value to 12. Yep. So you can see over here, my x value is changing from 10 to 12. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Once I make the element as
That's
final,
fine.
now you can see over here the setter meter is throwing an error, because when an element is specified as final, you can't change the value. So if you can't change the value, then there is no need of setter method, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
obviously this has to go. At the same time, you can see over here our constructor is also throwing an error. Our constructor is throwing an error because you can't assign the value at the beginning, because you have already assigned 10.
Yes, sir.
So now it is throwing an error. So if I don't assign any value over here, okay, if I don't assign any value over here, now if you see, it is throwing me an error because there is a default constructor. If I cancel this default constructor, now the final error also will go. So when you're not assigning any value, you should not have a default constructor. If you assign a value, then you should not have a parameterized constructor. That is the one rule of the final keyword. No setter methods. If you have assigned the value, then no parameterized constructor. If you are not assigned the value, then there is no default constructor.
Okay, sir.
Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Since I don't want anything over here, I'll simply cancel this. I'll put it like this. Okay. Now if I go to main menu, my main menu will basically cry. So I'll put 1 over here so that there will not be any errors. S out b dot get x run. Now you see I got the answer correct. Understood how the finally will work?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us go into our EA class. I'll make my, first of all, I'll create two methods. First method is India. I'll say India is school. I'll create another method. I'll say USA. And in this method, I'll say USA is fun. Okay. Now here, since B is extending A, then obviously I can basically get all my methods over here, right? B dot, I can get the India method also. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Basic concept of inheritance.
Yes, sir.
Nathan sleeping.
No, sir.
Now if I make this class as final, okay, when I make this class as final, see over here, it is giving me an error. Once a class is made final, it can't be inherited by any other classes. One rule: once a class is final, it can't be inherited by any other classes. See, if I put a override method over here, and if I say India, you can see over here it will give us an error. The error is very simple. You already have A, Yep, you already have this method. You should not, there is no inheritance to be done. You should not do any inheritance. That is the only rule over here. No inheritance when the class is made final. Okay, when you make a class as final, you should not do any inheritance. You can simply remove this. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There are only two concepts on final. Once you declare it final, no setter methods, no constructors. If you initialize the value, no parameterized constructor. If you don't initialize the value, no default constructor. That is the one rule for elements or properties. For classes, if you define a class as final, then you can't do inheritance. There are only two rules.
Yes.
Okay, follow these two rules, that is enough. Hope you understood today's whatever we have done.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, then see you tomorrow.